Hello, and thank you for listening to the Crookedrivercast. I am Robert. Joining me every week is Tom, and we are two guys from Northeast Ohio just trying to figure out what's going on in our state. This is show 35, recorded on November 15th, 2025. Whoa, there it goes. You see that? That was the week that just went by. We've got some stuff to discuss. So let's go. Boy, what a week. Whew. That week, first of all, it flew by for me. And second, man, it was a week. A lot of travel. I did a lot of travel this week.
Where did you go?
I went to Kentucky. A little business trip. See some people for the upcoming holidays, some customers. 1,300 miles in 3 days.
Boo. I just wanted to hear about the bourbon.
I came home with plenty of bourbon. Like
Excellent.
I said, Christmas gifts. And Robert gifts, too. I got a couple of Robert gifts. Tried a couple at, I have to go to Justin's house. This is a Kentucky spotlight. This is Justin's House of Bourbon. This is where I like to go to downtown Louisville. They got a nice tasting bar there. They got a lot of choices, a lot of local stuff. And I mentioned the tasting bar. Yeah, that's the key on that one.
Nice.
Did try a new one though. Blackout, I think it's called. Blackout.
Oh, that's
Kentucky.
Go ahead.
I don't think that's what you were about to say. Metallica, weren't you?
Yeah, that's the one I buy. It's from which I like.
Is that a Metallica one?
Yeah, that's one. Oh, well, one of the guys.
I didn't realize it was. Now that you say that, it makes sense. But
it's called Blackout, but unless there's a different one.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I looked at it, but it didn't really mention anything about him. So maybe
it's small. It's not a. The only way I would have known. The only way I know is actually the girl that works at the liquor store told me it was a Metallica thing.
Yes, and what I've heard, the barrel house is loaded with speakers, and they play heavy metal throughout the night or throughout the day whenever they're not there to help invigorate the bourbon to get that char flavor out of the barrels.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's one thing. There's another distillery I go there. It's a brandy distillery, and they do the same thing. Because I'd show up there at 5:30, and the distillery is closed, but it's a restaurant. And I'm like, why is there always a party here? And I asked the bartender, he's like, oh, no. We took that from the Metallica guys. But the distiller gets to pick every night the playlist to play for the bourbon.
Ah.
So that's actually cool. That was not what I was planning on talking about at all. But it was a long week. I am kind of tired. How about you?
Oh, I think I'm going to get medicine head during the show because I just took some Dayquil.
Nice.
So I'm all stuffed up, and
drugs,
and I am pretty achy today because I fell off my tailgate yesterday. My truck right onto concrete.
Oh, on the concrete too. Oh,
yeah. I did a pretty good tuck and roll, but my head took a pretty good beating on this concrete.
So you got a little concussion. You're gonna play the leftist today on the show since you have a little concussion going on.
I got my neck is sore. My head's a little. I can't tell if it's because of the cold or from the fall. It's a little achy, but my neck feels like I got whiplashed.
Well, this is for you. This one has.
You big dummy.
Fred gave you some.
It happens. Crap. It happens so quick.
Yeah.
I remember, I had a stepladder. I'm old. I can't jump onto the bed like I used to. So I got this little stepladder next to the tailgate, and I went to put my foot on it, and it just slid away from me.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't your fault. It was mechanical.
Yeah, I'm going to blame it. No, it was my fault. I was just
rushing along, probably.
And as it was sliding, I was like, "What the hell did I just do?" And then my glasses flew off, and my earbuds popped out, and I'm rolling on the ground and holding my head, and then I get up real quick, make sure nobody saw me.
Perfect. Well, hopefully I can pull you back. I mean, if you get in that coma, just ring a bell or something. Give me a sign that you're. Maybe it's the snoring. It'll I'll wake you up. Let's see.
During the day, I was like, man, do I go to sleep? Because I heard some weird things can happen when you hit your head.
Oh, that's right. They want to keep you awake. Yeah, just check out the. I guess if you're in the NFL, you got to go in a dark room for like 3 days to get a concussion.
What?
Yeah, they do some kind of crazy concussion protocol. You do it in NFL. They do it in NASCAR, I think, too. It's like they want you to wear sunglasses, dark sunglasses. It's like light helps, or light does something to aggravate it, blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
Oh.
That's what I heard. They put them in a dark room for like hours or make them wear sunglasses and stuff.
Oh, you know what? This is great. I'm calling off Monday, Tuesday.
See? Look, just trying to help, Tom. Well, before we get into it, I do have a question for the listeners out there. I need some help.
Oh.
And maybe from you too, because as I'm going through my kids' Christmas list, I noticed an odd thing on my youngest daughter. So she's like 11. So, you would think there's many things you could probably figure out would maybe be on that list. One of them was surprising to me. Portable CD player.
Yeah. I've heard that.
Portable CD player.
I've heard that kids are kind of getting back into actually having something. Media.
I commend her for looking in that direction, but I'm kind of curious on the portable part because I think she just wants a CD player. I think, but when you go online and look at like Amazon stuff, everything's portable CD player, portable. These cheap little things that you can buy. Because why would she want to take a CD player and CDs along with her when you've got other ways, much easier ways to do it?
I don't know why kids are doing this, but I've read that.
Portables?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the ones that she points out and the ones you see aren't really, they're portable as far as you could take them to another desk or take them to another house. It's not the portable, like, I think I still have my portable CD player, the little Walkman clip on your side of your belt. Actually, I should pull that out, give that to her for Christmas. Look, I just saved myself so much money. But the question I have is, so I'm looking at a couple options, really like a little desktop unit, like a little shelf system. They have little ones out there, like 30 watts. They're pretty good. And they even have Bluetooth, so you can send your phone audio to it, say in your room and stuff like that. But question is, she also had CDs on the list. And of course, she picked out her couple of Taylor Swift ones. But what would be the first CD you would give your kid? Any suggestions from the listeners would be welcome, because I'd like to see and hear what people have to say about it. But what do you have anything that comes to mind immediately? What's your first thing? CD for your niece?
I'm getting it for my kid or my niece.
Well,
if I had a kid,
I guess a kid. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, I guess. What would be the first thing you pop in your head if a kid of that age is asking for an album?
So you're talking 15 years old?
11 to 15, we'll say. It's actually the younger one.
Okay, this is a little different for those ages. The 15-year-old, I would probably get. You know what, man? I would just get AC/DC. Highway to Hell. Yeah, or something like that. Back in Black.
Actually, she's already learning some of that on the guitar, so that would be perfect. That'd be perfect.
Oh, okay. So this is for the 11-year-old.
Yep.
Okay, well, because she plays guitar, that's a pretty good first one too. I think I would just try to introduce them to.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Rock and roll.
Yeah. What would you introduce somebody of that age to what music if you want to influence? I asked a buddy of mine, and his first thing was Beatles Best of Volume 1. I think it is, he said.
Oh yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, he's just it's like 35. It's like 25 hits. Just every single one is just.
That's a great idea too. It's probably not the one I would have picked just because that wasn't what I listened to.
Sure. Yep.
But it is a great suggestion.
And that's really because that's what I know what I would pick, and it would be more along what you're looking at, AC/DC. I'd probably go like even into the 90s maybe.
Yeah,
And
Aerosmith.
yeah, there we go. Aerosmith. I mean, you can even go back to Stones, that kind of stuff. If you really wanted to get into it, rock and roll, Stone
Yeah.
Temple Pilots, that kind of stuff. But what would somebody out there who's not me or you suggest? Just curious. Send us
Yeah.
an email, crookedrivercast@gmail.com. Check us out at the website. Look at that plug right away. Crookedrivercast.com if you want to know or get us on X, and if you like see us on X and you noticed anything,
We love cookie.
you might want to figure out why I keep playing that. If you want to know why I keep playing that, go on X. You may figure it out eventually. So on to the stories. On to the list of stories. So yay, the shutdown is over. Finally, kind of over. So I have a question. Now that the shutdown is over, what happened to all the money the state started pulling together to cover SNAP benefits? Are we going to get any of that? Is that coming back? Is it still getting paid out? Is it going back? Is the money from the federal government that we're going to get? Because that's how it works. Federal government gives the states the money and they distribute it. So are we going to get the money from the federal government to repay where we borrowed from Peter to pay SNAP benefits? Follow me?
Yeah.
That's the first thing that caught in my head. Like all this money just got spun up, hundreds of millions of dollars throughout the states, like 25 or 50. I think the state was saying 25 million off the start. They were going to borrow from this section and give it to temporary, give SNAP benefits to Ohioans. And then counties started pulling money together and all this other stuff was going on. So where's that money going? Seems like it's going to get lost in the shuffle. That's the first
Do we have an answer anywhere?
No, they have. Well, kind of. So when I Googled it and asked the Googles said now that the government is open, Ohio will begin distributing the full amount of November SNAP, formerly known as food stamps, benefits by mid next week, minus any partial payments already received.
Okay. How many
So
did they send out, or how much did
they
send out?
sent out? Oh, I did see that on an article. I think they sent out like quite a bit. I want to shoot. I didn't pull that article. But I think it's quite a. This is the one here, 65%. So yeah, they only got a partial from the state. It is unclear how soon the remaining benefits will be issued, but ODJFS said it has begun the process. They should monitor their accounts. I think it doesn't say. It said somewhere, but I didn't pull that. I just asked a question. I didn't really have an answer. But it is unclear what is going to happen to any of that extra money. I would assume they're going to be honest with it and put it back where it belongs. But that's a stretch if you ask me.
Well, you're assuming, but
Yes.
I would assume the same thing.
Yeah. I thought it had told me where, because they had given me a figure on what was sent out. Columbus Dispatch here. Yeah, 1.2 for mine, 42-day shutdown, 40 million Americans, and they want me to pay. So, oh well. But just a question, I guess. They did pay out quite a bit of it from what I read from the state. And are we going to, where's it going to, what's going to happen? I need some clarity, maybe. Keep an eye on those critters. Got to keep an eye on those critters because they will take it if it's just laying out there. Find a good use for it, that according to them at least. But that's that. So yay, shutdown is over, and hopefully flights will get back on track. And funny enough, the new bill that they pass, it only goes to January.
End of January, right?
Yeah, end of January. Except the pay checks for Congress members totally go till September.
Yep.
So they took care of themselves. So thank you for that. It's we were really worried about whether you guys are going to have enough money or not. And speaking of money, Again, free money for everyone. Just hear it pouring in. Just pouring in. Trump announces $2,000 tariff checks on Truth Social, which is always interesting. No details really on what, who's going to get it, other than just not high income people.
Define high income.
Exactly. Because if you go off of like stimulus checks, it's not very high.
Yeah, no, it was 75,000
and 150, I think, right?
And 150 for a couple. So
I think you can go up a little higher than that, because at $150,000 for a household, that's not a high wage earner. Sorry.
No, isn't that medium?
That's medium, a middle class, or something to that extent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So really not a whole lot, other than Trump saying 2,000. He had bounced back and forth between 1,000 and 2,000. This is tariff checks. So they've got hundreds of billions of dollars from these tariffs, and they want to start paying off the debt and give some back to the taxpayers, which makes perfect sense in a lot of ways, including for the upcoming midterms. Makes really good sense. I mean, it's not something he just thought up now. He's been thinking about this he was talking about this since the presidential campaign, which I would think, after all this time with tariffs and what we've seen, and, we got numbers all over the place, I would think a $2,000 check for a household would probably cover any increases that you may have gotten from tariffs. More than cover it, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay.
At least really help, at least if you've been hurt, which...
if you're going to count overtime, people might have lost some overtime due to tariffs because their business is a little slower.
Well, good point. Yes.
But overtime's not exactly it's not a guarantee. So,
right, it's not something you should expect to have all the time.
Yeah. Well, did you really lose it? Because maybe it would have been slow because of other reasons.
Yeah, it's not tied. You get a 30% increase on aluminum. How does that affect down the line? It's very you're not getting a 30% increase on anything with aluminum. You're getting a fraction of a percent probably by the time it's all said and done. If it even gets passed on. I mean, we've taken in at my work a couple of items that we haven't really passed down any of the increase to, just because just the quickness of everything. You almost at some level can't. You have to give customers notice a lot of cases. So there's a lot of places that are just taking on or only passing on a partial increase in the tariffs. So.
Yeah.
Let's keep an eye out for that, because I think that as we get closer into closer, I don't know how long it's going to take, but he just announced it, so I got to figure out all the details.
How do you think the economy is doing?
I think in Ohio, I think it's doing pretty good, better than the national average.
Okay.
When I talk to people in my industry in other states like New York and Pennsylvania, not very busy.
Right.
Very busy. That's about why I have to go by. I think Ohio we've been a little sheltered from it because of the tech boom and maybe a few things.
All right. You're talking about it more in a industry sense.
Yeah, like I look at construction and how much we're building.
Right.
Where we're building it, and that's usually a good sign of, at some level, of the economy.
How do you think people are feeling right now?
I think they're frustrated. I think prices. I think they're starting to really get annoyed with the high cost of everything. I know I am.
That's why this is. That's why I think he's going to try to push for this.
Yes.
I think people are feeling strapped, and I wasn't expecting. Deflation. I was hoping for. It would be nice to have a steady rate of deflation for a while. I wasn't expecting that, though. What I wasn't expecting, though, was just prices that just keep going up, and the gas prices haven't really they're down, but they're not down a whole lot.
No, they're not down too much. I mean, they're not still going up, so and they have come down, so I guess that's a positive.
Yeah, you know what? One week it's 330 here by me, and the next week it's 280.
Yeah.
I don't even. That's like too much of a difference there. I don't know what's going on.
And the prices aren't leveling off. I don't think they don't seem like they are. Every time I go out to dinner, it keeps going up. I keep getting shell shocked at how much I spend.
Yeah, same here.
I don't even drink anything most of the time. It's just most of the time we even get water. It's not even sodas or anything.
Yeah.
But in my industry, in construction, I mean, it's gone from, 15 years ago, you might have an increase year over year. And it would be certain product categories or certain manufacturers. Now, 15 years later, every year, every manufacturer, and it's not 2, 3, 4, we're talking 8, 6, 8, 9% increases year over year. And some are doing 5 in January and 4 in June or July, 2 a year.
Right.
It's and it's funny how major manufacturers of the same product all go up the exact same. Interesting. Every year they nail it. It's amazing. So I think that's where you're seeing some of the heartache. And I think with the last election was, some of it. There was some of that in there. There was some. I do think the Republicans kind of got caught off guard. And one of the concerns or criticisms, more or less, was they weren't reading the room. They were still talking about LGBTQ and girls,
right.
boys and men, that kind of stuff like that. So I think, I think you might be right on that. That's probably a good. I mean, and it's needed too. And I think with the amount of money they're bringing in, this is a drop in the bucket. $2,000 per, even it's just per taxpayer.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't see. The thing is, I don't need it. So I would rather see the debt go down.
Yes. Well, I mean, funny enough, at every tax return, there's a little box on the bottom you can check and just give them whatever money you want to give them. So,
you give me a check, I'm not giving it back.
I know, but I like to throw that out to. Well, they don't, people don't pay their fair share, and I'm like, well, you could pay more. Do you pay more? Because you're allowed to check a box and just write it like $1,000. You can just give to the government on even the easiest tax form has that on it.
I would rather write it. I would rather write I would give it back if I knew exactly where it went.
Oh, yeah.
Like if it said, "Oh yeah, we got 37 trillion," your tiny your tiny payment is going to go towards that. I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, but really, it's just going to go back to to the swamp, and get wasted with a bunch of other stuff.
Well, that's why I don't check that box.
Yep. And that's why no one ever does, because they truly don't believe what they're saying a lot of times. They just want other people to pay more, not them, which is kind of the point, obviously. It's like, hey, if you don't like it, then pay more. But they don't. They don't. So free money, wait for it. Well, as this pans out, I'm sure we'll get more details and the outrage. The outrage. Oh. On to the next one. The next is kind of a quasi-national story. So Supreme Court has declined to take the case the gay marriage case. So this has to do with, where was she from now? I pulled it up and it's here. So this was a lawsuit filed by Davis. So Kim Davis, sorry. Kim Davis in 2015, you may have heard of her. She was in the news. She refused to issue a same-sex license. And she lost in court, and then she lost her next re-election because she was a elected official. And now she's suing, and it's gone all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they've declined to take the case. So where the significance of this is, for Ohio at least, is the LGBTQIA plus Q minus up and down, left, right, AB Start has a petition we've talked about a couple of times. They got 2 petitions now because they tried to do one where it was gay marriage and LGBTQIA, all those other people, and about 50 other categories of people they wanted to protect in this constitutional amendment. And the state legislature said, no, you got to split these up. One's a gay marriage, one's LGBTQ trans thing. And the reason they were pushing for this is this case right here. So this is they were trying to overturn Obergefell, whatever.
Obergefell.
That's it. Yeah. And this is something because they started pushing this because a couple of the Supreme Court justices had mentioned that they should look at this again. And they still might. A lot of times they'll turn it down because it's not the case that they think will win.
Right.
And they turn it down and wait for something else. And it is, like I said, their main reason they put these ballots up, or they say is the reason they put the ballots up, because they said if they repeal this, or if this case goes through, the Supreme Court overturns their original decision on gay marriage, then the Ohio constitutional amendment, which states that marriage between a man and a woman would take effect. And then all their marriages would be, I don't know, not good anymore, I guess. I don't know. So that's kind of the argument. So what do they have to say now? No, they're going to continue to push on because it's really, I always thought the gay marriage thing was a cover to get the LGBTQ stuff passed, which is why I was all for them splitting it. So we have to have two constitutional amendments along with, and have 2 petitions to get them both on there. So I think this kind of shows their cards. It's really not about the gay marriage thing. I don't think it's really just about enshrining LGBTQ rights in the Constitution. Any thoughts, Tom? Making sure you're awake.
I'm thinking about it. I think it should be what they ruled should be overturned, and it should go to Congress. Because this was kind of the Supreme Court making a law, not Congress.
Yes. So, yeah, it's precedent making law as law, which is,
right,
to me, an issue in our society. But
wasn't that like one of the reasons, the abortion?
Yeah, Roe v. Wade.
Roe v. Wade was overturned?
Yeah.
I thought the same thing about this. I don't care about same-sex marriage. I don't care about that. I just want it to be done correctly.
Yeah. Kind of what my point was, you didn't really get your rights. You just got the permission to do what you wanted to do, and they could take it away from you anytime.
Yeah.
I don't know what the solution is. I mean,
overturning it and giving it to Congress.
Well, giving it to Congress or back to the states.
Or back to the states, yeah.
And which is their worry that if it does go back to the states, then this amendment kicks back in, and then their marriages are null and void, is what they're saying. I don't know.
Okay, vote on it before that takes effect. Couldn't we do that?
Vote on what?
Like create another amendment and vote on that.
Yeah, that's kind of what they're doing. But they've split it now, so it's going to be a lot harder for them.
I don't think same-sex marriage would have an issue.
No, and that's why
the other things would.
And I think that's why they try to combine it. And I think gay marriage was just a cover.
Oh yeah, we kind of talked about this before, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I can see the gay marriage one going and passing and getting on the ballot. The LGBTQ one, maybe it gets on the ballot, but I don't see it passing.
Yeah, no, I don't either.
I don't see it even getting on the ballot. And I don't know if the other one getting on a ballot too, if there's no pressing need. Are people really going to sign on to that? And, when there's essentially no reason to, because it's already been covered. But in a lot of people's eyes, it would be no reason to.
Right.
In mine and yours, it sounds like, yes, it's a reason to, regardless of what happens, it should be taken up by Congress or overruled and given to the states. And there's no way Congress is taking this up. Ain't no way. No way. They're going to stay clear of this, which is why they stay clear of most things, because they're a bunch of wussies. Keep it clean. Well, let us know what you think. What do you think about this gay marriage, free money for all? go to our website, check us out. We got the blog post there after every show so that you can check out our links and what we're looking at to get to the places that we get to, I guess, on some of these. You could read the articles, see the whole video clip that we pull from it, just portions of it. A lot of times you can check it out at the blog. Every Monday after the show is posted, you can go there and check it out and read along with the show. Crookedrivercast.com. Check us out. Send us an email, crookedrivercast@gmail.com. Tell us what you think. Next, I think we have a bill. We have a bill in Congress because the critters have been crittering. We've got a few, yes, milk duds. We have a few stories here that are kind of a little tied together here in certain ways. The Ohio Senate has passed a bill, and I'm pretty sure it does have to go into the House, but it is a bill to, according to a lot of people that are against it, it restricts access to voting by requiring mail-in ballots to only be counted, or as it is right now. Let me start here. As it is right now, you have up to 4 days to count an absentee ballot that comes through the mail after the election. This bill would make anything after that not countable. It's an invalid ballot. It did not get to the Board of Elections by Election Day. It is no longer good. And everybody's screaming,
I think it still has a couple of days there for if you're out of the country. Probably for the military, I think. And
there are some exemptions for out of state and that kind of or military and stuff like that. It's still a little bit, but generally speaking, it is for everybody else. It would be just your normal. You got to get it in before Election Day, on Election Day or before. So let's see what Morgan has to say about this. I cut this clip up a little bit because it was really long, so it's not. Just so you know, I did cut it up, and it'll be pretty obvious. But I just wanted to make that sure. But let's see what Morgan has to say. Is News Channel 5 absentee ballot bill.
When it comes to elections, every vote counts, especially in local races. Cuyahoga County Board of Elections data shows that 10 races were within about 20 votes, with 6 being within 10, and there were even several ties. This is why voting rights advocate Jen Miller says that Ohio's 4-day grace period is essential. Ballots will still be counted as long as they're returned within 4 days of the election, if they're postmarked before Election Day. The BOE told us that nearly 3,000 valid ballots came in during that period. More than some races even had votes.
It's incredibly important that every eligible voter can cast their ballot. And our concern with Senate Bill 293 would be that many votes would not count for something that's outside of the voter's control, which is the speed of the mail.
The majority of Senate Republicans voted to...
Hold on. How is it out of your control? If you know the mail is not going to it's not going to get there instantly, so you have to mail it before Election Day. So it is in your control. So that's kind of,
I mean, you
get it
early enough.
Like 2 months before the election or something crazy.
It's a month at least.
At least a month. Yeah. So what we're really just trying to make sure, get up off your butt and mail it 5 days earlier. Mm-hmm. So it kind of is under your control. All right, let's see what else. What does this really have to do with Yeah, you guessed it.
Pass SB 293, requiring all ballots to be returned by the close of polls on election night. Each of Republican Secretary of State Frank LaRosa's election audits has shown no proof of widespread voter fraud. For years, President Donald Trump and some GOP leaders have insisted, without evidence, that mail-in ballots are fraudulent.
No evidence.
Following his lead, red states have started restricting access.
Now,
the U.S. Supreme Court announced it will decide whether or not ballots can be counted after Election Day, as the RNC is suing Mississippi, which has a similar law to Ohio.
It's called Election Day for a reason.
Restricting access. That's what they call it. Restricting access. You didn't have access to the ballot. Oh, wait, you did, because it's in your house for 3 weeks. And you sat around in your butt and procrastinated until the day of the election. You went, oh, I'm going to go mail this in now. if this goes by, if this passes, you're out of luck for the most part, unless you're a military out of the country or something like that. So yeah, some red states have started restricting access. No, Morgan, that's not restricting access.
I like Morgan most of the time, but she becomes a, well, she's you know, I can't think of the word right now. See, I'm trying to think and nothing's happening, Rob.
It's the drugs, lefty.
Yeah, a little bit. Well, she's a lefty, but she's a,
I was more like a progressive, libtard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to, I don't know.
Activist.
There you go. She does get, yeah, that's without evidence. First of all, making claims, but they do have some evidence. They do.
Well, there is evidence.
There's always evidence. Every election is evidence.
Yeah.
Speaking of evidence, well, as we go on to the next story, but before we go on to LaRose, who wants to send the fraudulent votes that Ohio State doesn't want to do anything with, or fraudulent voters to the DOJ. That's our next. That's why a couple of these are tied together. So the Supreme Court is deciding to take a case right now to iron this out, to see if you're allowed to, because like I said, Louisiana, I think it was Louisiana suing, or they're suing, GOP suing in Louisiana because they have a similar law than Ohio, which is you can go 4 or 5 days past and still count mail-in ballots. We should have results on election day, because there are countries that do everything by paper, like most of Europe, and they have elections results that night. And everybody's going to say, oh, but America's so much bigger. Yeah, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, if you think about it.
The way it's done, it's not. No, the states do it.
Yeah, we don't have one big election with 350 million people. We have 50 smaller elections, which would compare to like Europe, like France, where they do, I don't know exactly, but I know a lot, if not most, have banned mail-in ballots, and a lot of places digital.
Mm-hmm.
They're going all paper. So it can be done, barring any pipes bursting in Atlanta or anything like that.
This was one of the issues I was most concerned about this past election, and I don't think they're going to do a damn thing about it. I mean federal, elections.
Right. No. I think it's too easy for them to, both sides, when I say them, I mean Republicans and Democrats, it's too easy for them to finagle the results when you can, stop counting in the middle of the night and then influx a bunch of ballots that just came out of nowhere, with 98% going to one candidate and 2% going to the other.
Yeah.
So no evidence, right? There's no evidence of any shenanigans ever. Except Frank LaRose has some evidence. He has a list of, I guess, voter fraud that's been happening in the last election and actually presidential election. And he's given it to the state. I guess it would be the Attorney General. So Frank LaRose is Secretary of State. And he says he has more than 1,000 cases of alleged voter fraud, and has sent it to the Department of Justice. Now, this isn't from one election. I think this is multiple elections. Seems that way, because after reading this a couple of times, it doesn't sound like he hasn't found a lot. He hasn't really found a tremendous amount, it doesn't seem like. But what he has found, when he sends it to the prosecutors in the Ohio state government, they're saying not worth our time. So now he wants to send it to the DOJ, and everybody's crying foul because they think he's, what they call it, forum shopping, or send this to enough courts and somebody will take it, kind of thing. Did you see something different, or what am I missing?
I don't know. I don't know what he's really trying to do here. I mean, he doesn't have that much evidence. I mean, there's evidence, but there's not that much to pursue it. I thought, personally, I think Ohio's elections are pretty solid.
Seems that way. That's kind of what I took from this article. LaRose is trying. So he says of LaRose's referrals, about 1,000 appear to be instances of illegal registration alone, and LaRose notes only 167 examples of non-citizens allegedly casting a ballot spread over the last 8 years and of 4 federal elections. So
I think there's actually a lot more than that.
I bet there is, yeah.
Yeah, but you need the evidence. What were they changing? That you have to show an ID and proof of citizenship, right?
What was that?
Here in Ohio, didn't we just weren't they working on something like that?
I don't remember. I don't recall.
A couple of months ago.
Maybe, yeah. I don't recall the proof of citizenship because isn't that?
Well, right now you don't have to show proof of citizenship.
You have to show a state ID.
Yeah, but that doesn't that doesn't prove anything really.
Yeah, well, to get a state ID, what do you need though? You need like Social Security card.
You don't need proof of citizenship.
You need a birth certificate, that kind of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm. No, well, I don't know. I think you need a couple of those things.
Yeah, you need a couple things.
I forget, but I don't think you need proof of citizenship.
Correct. I don't think you have to show proof, but I think if you give them certain documents, it's proof that you're a citizen.
No, like my wife just became a citizen when she went to renew her license. She just said she's a citizen. She never had to show anything. I don't believe. I'll double check on that. If I'm wrong, we'll bring it up.
Yeah, I honestly not 100% sure. I just think there's. First of all, if that's not the case, then it should be. If you're going to get an Ohio license or an Ohio State ID, you should be able to show something that at least proves. So I guess in the past, what would she show? Because there's, I don't know. I'm trying to remember what you have to show to get your ID, to get a license, and it's been a while, so I don't remember.
Green card.
Okay. Well,
that's proof of residence, but that's not proof of citizenship.
There you go. So I think you should. Well, yeah. I don't know what am I going to bring to on election day to prove I'm a citizen?
Well, for me, that's easy. Birth certificate.
So you have to come. You're going to come to the voting booth with your birth certificate.
No. I think what they're trying to do is that when you register to vote,
when you register. I'm sorry. I'm thinking.
Which previously you didn't have to.
Now I'm following you. Sorry, I was. Maybe I should have taken some drugs. Okay, I see what you're saying. So you're talking about registration. I'm thinking, okay, so in order to register, you have to show that you're a citizen. I don't remember when was the last time I registered to vote. I can't remember. I was like 20.
Well, you probably when you moved from Parma.
I never filled anything out. I just went to vote. I don't know what I did.
Oh,
actually.
Okay. Well, anyways, we're kind of just
we're in the weeds now. But anyway,
yeah. But a couple of months ago, we were talking about when they one of the things they want to fix is people when they register to vote that they have to show proof of citizenship.
I do remember that. Yep. Which is needed. Anybody who says it isn't is trying to pull the wool over your eyes.
I'm only bringing that up because I do think there are a lot of non-citizens that vote. Just anecdotally, I know people that have done it. They got IDs and everything, but they never had to show proof of citizenship, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm a citizen."
How is that? How crazy is that?
Yeah,
like you have to be a citizen to vote, but you don't have to prove you're a citizen to register to vote. That's so stupid. And it's been that way forever. It's like, how is that even a thing?
Yeah, well, we're kind of built on a trust, type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't think people were nefarious previously. Now you're getting people coming in over the border without even knowing who they are. There could be a little bit more intention to screw things up.
Yeah. Well,
previously it was kind of like, well, there, because it was all based on the same type. We were all kind of the same moral values. Now it's, I don't know. I don't think it is.
Yeah. Now you have political parties in favor of massive illegal immigration. Nah, never mind. That can't be related. Nah, of course
not. No, not at all. Yeah.
So, and he's even getting crap from Republicans.
Yeah.
And they were saying, well, you're just a Trump toady and you're just doing like, well, I mean, these are, I guess it doesn't seem like a lot, but if he's got 1,000 cases, there's a lot more. And why not punish people and make examples out of them so other people stop doing it? Now there's no recourse. They don't care. They're not going to get busted. And if they do, nothing's going to happen.
I'm glad he's doing it.
Yeah.
I think he's getting pushback because nobody wants to admit that it's not a perfect system here in Ohio.
That's true. That's a good point. That might be really, really good. Well, we'll see what he continues to do. I'm not sure. We'll see what the DOJ does. Maybe they take it up. I'm sure they will. I think they're really looking into the election process more than in past administrations. So see what comes of it. Next, we have more critters at work. And this is Ohio Bill 503, which would give earners more power over income tax reciprocity credits. Oh my goodness. Earners more power over income tax reciprocity credits. So what is income tax reciprocity? So if you work in city A but live in city B, in a lot of places you pay income tax in both.
Mm-hmm.
Some areas you would get a residential credit, and in some cases you can even get on the other side. I think does it go both ways? And what this bill would do would give the way I read it, this would give the school boards the authority to levy property taxes. No, not property taxes, land taxes, not just on your property. Right now, your property taxes are based on how much building you have on that property. It takes in consideration the land, and really, what really jacks up the price is how much the bigger building you put on a property, the more tax you pay. Correct?
Right.
Yeah. This would allow school boards to levy taxes on your land and not your property. What that would do is people who just own empty lots as an investment, they'd have to pay taxes. Farmers would be paying a land tax unless exempted for some way.
You're exempted when you're farming because you're farming. There's a CAUV, a CAUV tax credit, like when you're using the land for farming.
I would imagine they would continue that in this bill.
Yeah, they would have to. I mean,
we are assuming though. Let's just be clear.
Yeah, we would
probably would, but
yeah, because there's also a forestry thing. If you have like 10 or more acres full of forest, you get a nice tax credit.
So, for example, this is an article. A resident of South Euclid, which has a 2% income tax rate, who commutes a half hour into Cleveland, which has a 2.5% tax rate,
right,
is effectively paying 4.5% on the money they make. 2.5% to the city they work and 2% to the city they live in. Other places like Rocky River, residents who work in Cleveland pay 2.5% Cleveland tax and a 0.5% Rocky River tax.
But it sounds like most cities offer a exemption.
A lot do, yes.
Yeah, I think most.
I think you're correct. But not Cleveland, probably.
Well, not Cleveland, but like my city offers it doesn't offer a great exemption, but it does. It's one of the lower ones, I should say.
So who should really be giving these? Who should be getting the lion's share of income taxes? For me, I immediately think the place you live, you should be paying more than the place you work.
Well, I don't know. Are you using more where you work?
I don't think so.
Are you using more resource? Yeah, I don't think so either. But here's of Ohio's 100 most populated cities, there are 16 in Northeast Ohio that don't credit taxpayers for full amount in taxes that they pay to places they work.
Yeah, like the example of South Euclid is one on that list. The 2% tax with no credit.
Right.
This would give the taxing authorities the ability to make their own decisions on it. It's so it says in the article, at least. I don't know. I think, seeing as though you're going to a company to work, they're already paying taxes to that city, and you're there. Yeah, you could argue you're there more than maybe you're at your house sometimes. But like I said, you're going to a company that has property and is paying taxes. The fact that you would think that in most cases, unless they get some, sweetheart deals like a lot do, but that, to me, I look at it that way and say, no, I think the credit should be from the city I work in, not the city I live in. And I think, I don't know. It's just the way it falls in my head. I think.
Well, I think Cleveland taxes because they have no residents. They have nobody to tax.
That's a good point. That's good. Well, raise the tax on the business. Well, then the businesses will move. So it's the catch 22.
Yeah.
Well, we did have, because we were talking about, like last week, they had we had all those levies and everything. The week before, we were talking about what happened, comparing, I think it was Amherst and Parma. Parma went for a property tax levy. Amherst went for an increase to their income tax levy, and, they both lost. But my thought was, well, at least give Amherst some credit for trying to do something different, maybe to spread it out a little bit more fairly across the residents. And we did get a email from the J-Stroke, who has emailed us before. And his thought, he disagreed with some of what we had said as far as the fairness. He said, I disagree with fairness of income tax levies replacing property tax levies. And a couple of the points he said was, what he brought up, the reciprocity. Like, how does this work with reciprocity? If you're really relying on income tax to fund a lot of the services, how's that going to work? And then he also brought up, hey, what happens as people retire? What happens to their income tax? Where does that go? How much do the cities get from that? So first of all, thank you for the email. It was quite a nice email. He had a disagreement and gave us some points, and I agree with a lot of them. I just think there's more than one way to skin a cat, and income tax would only be a partial way to fund schools and that kind of stuff.
I think he took issue with my saying it's more fair. Yeah, which I don't know. Maybe fairness isn't the right word to use there. Maybe. I thought it was going to be
diversified, maybe more.
Yeah, diverse. A little bit more.
That's kind of where I'm going with it.
Spread thinner amongst everybody that's working. Because what about the households that have more than one or two people working?
And right now we have a single point of failure when it comes to school funding.
Yeah.
Property values decrease or something happens in that range. So why not spread it out? That's going to be my income tax increase is one of the ways. But I think sometimes we can't see the forest from the trees, I guess would be the same, but not to say that J-Stroke, I'm just saying in general, it would be better if we had 2 or 3 sources of revenue for schools. You'd have a more consistent, you would think you'd have a more consistent revenue stream. Harder to disrupt because, am I crazy or?
No, I don't know. I'm just looking at his email right now. I'm going through it. And he mentions retirees, if you just get income tax, they're retired. So all they got is a retiree income. So they're not going to be taxed. But doesn't the city have an ebb and flow of, I guess, citizens in the city that are younger and then older? I mean, there's like a natural flow to the average age of a city. It might change for a decade and then it rebounds. Because just from a anecdotal thing, the street I grew up on was all old people. There was like myself, my sister, and only a couple other kids out of, let's say, 100 houses. And then over the next decade, it was all young people. So it just kind of, I don't know. I think there's a flow or just a constant change.
Yeah. And I think that's part of his point, and is on the bottom end of that, when you've got more retirees than not, how does that affect funding from the
then you have less schools, or less children.
True, you have less children.
We'll
get into actually some of that later on with what Cleveland Schools is doing. But I also would say he brings up maybe we compromise with taxing some of the income and retirement income, which is maybe a solution. But I would also bring up, I think a lot of people's retirement now is income taxable income. If you pull from a 401k, isn't that taxable?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be taxable. I mean, obviously not everybody pulls from a 401k. Some still do pensions and so on, which if you pull from a pension, do you pay tax on that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So is income tax. So what wouldn't you pay tax on if you retired? An IRA? Because it's
just less tax, I guess.
Yeah.
You're
so I don't think it would go to zero if you're retired, but it'll probably be less than if you were working.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Right.
Okay.
But
I'm just flushing it out.
You're also like tax, if you're property tax and the person's been living there 40 years, hasn't had kids in the house for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
What's he paying that much for schools at that point? I don't know. There's a better way. There's got to be a better way.
And it's not necessarily about whether you tax my house or you're taxing me for something I haven't gained anything. If you're taxing me on my income, I've gained that. I get why. I wish you didn't have to, but I understand the argument of taxing my income. But I have not incomed anything from my house, and it's not a coincidence that they just keep going up, and that a lot of the stuff we've been talking about is these auditors and taxing authorities in cahoots with the appraisers in some strange way. Like everything goes up, up, up. So there is a better way. Mm-hmm. There is a better way. Definitely a better way. And all these Band-Aids they want to put on it, no. Lobbyistforcitizens.com. We'll just put that in there for a plug.
Thanks for the email.
Yes, thank you for the email.
And thanks for the tip for Spread Eagle Tavern.
Yes.
I checked the menu out on that, man. We are going to check that out.
Yeah, it looked really cool. Like a nice looking, like an old school, like, I don't know, look like an old house maybe or something. It used to be. Yeah,
it kind of reminds me of what's in, there's a place in Strongsville. It starts with a P, I think. I forget. But anyways, yeah, it's like a old school tavern restaurant. Looked pretty high end.
Yeah, and real quick, he also mentioned that we talked about our accounting error in Cincinnati. He brought up this happened a while back in Rittman, Ohio. Sounds like residents were overtaxed for 15 years. So didn't look too much into it, but because of human error, it says, oh yeah. So thank you. So yeah, check out the Spread Eagle Tavern in Hanoverton. Okay, next on our list of great stories where we did the income tax, and let's talk about land taxes. Can we just talk about that? No.
Yeah, we just.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, we did. I kind of put them to. Yeah, they're very much related. So it's so there's a bill. Does it have a bill number yet? SJR 7. I don't think that's really a bill. So Dave Thomas, Republican from Jefferson, has put this bill in there. He wants to, like I said, give the authority to the taxing authorities, local taxing authorities, to actually bring back a land value tax. Let's see what he has to say. We got a little clip because there's this is Idea Stream story. I always like it's because they have those short clips, like a minute long all the time. I have to do a lot of editing, so I like it. But here's what they say. There's a see if you can catch the guy made me laugh a couple times.
According to the Ohio School Boards Association, earlier this week, voters greenlit almost 2/3 of the local property tax levies on ballots across the state.
Last election. Yeah.
That came even with bubbling frustration over high property taxes, what some have said is due to inaction on state lawmakers' parts. Under the Ohio Constitution, cities and towns and schools can tax property, not land. That means how much an owner shells out in taxes is determined by both their land and the properties built on their land. Senator Bill Blessing, a Republican, is making a case to turn that on its head through a land value tax.
It is considered the best tax, if there can be such a thing. That it's one that doesn't discourage development. It's one that benefits will accrue to the citizens the most.
Letting jurisdictions do so would require an amendment to the Ohio Constitution, which is why he introduced Senate Joint Resolution 7 last month. Sarah Donaldson at the Ohio Public Radio State House News Bureau.
I pulled the clip. I'm going to use it. So, a little background on what they're trying to do. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere. I doubt it, but that's kind of some. It's the best tax, Tom. It's the best tax.
The best tax is no tax.
The best, yes, and it's going to really help spur development. How? So that when companies come in and buy land, so they later on they can develop it, and then not have to pay taxes on it. Maybe they won't buy the land. I don't know. It's the first thing that came to my head, but
I don't know.
I don't know how any taxes can be spurring development. It's usually the other way around, isn't it? We have to give them tax breaks. Duh. All right, so that's the next thing. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure what's ever going to come of that. It doesn't seem like it has very many sponsors. This, that, the other thing. So keep an eye out for a land value tax. Again, tax me on something I haven't gained on. Next, we get a little more local here. We're going to talk about a couple of Cleveland stories. A couple Cleveland, a couple Canton. Bernie Moreno is asking for an update because apparently the Cleveland Police Department is under federal review. And they have a group of people that is paid pretty well, it seems, to oversee this group or the police department. And I think sometime after the election, President Trump had put together. Well, you know what? I got a little background here from the I-Team. This is the I-Team tag team, I like to call it. This is the Gaelic tag team for from Fox 8. A little background and some comments from Moreno.
Last winter, Senator Moreno spoke out about this to the I-Team.
Furious, we revealed some members of the monitoring team earning up to $750 an hour.
Charging thousands to prepare for and attend council meetings.
Even charging for writing a sympathy note when an officer died.
Thank you for exposing that.
That's nice.
I think the citizens of Northeast Ohio and the voters and taxpayers of Cleveland owe you a debt of gratitude for doing that. And I'm very, very hopeful that we can put an end to the reign of terror, the stealing, and I'm going to call it that, the stealing of taxpayer dollars.
Last spring, the president issued an executive order to have all consent decrees reviewed within 60 days. The senator's letter points out police oversight has ended in a handful of cities, but not in Cleveland.
For every dollar we spend on doing, the monitoring of this is a dollar that could have been spent on something that actually would have promoted public safety either directly or indirectly.
You think?
City Council also has raised questions. For this story, the mayor's office released a statement
saying the city of Cleveland is committed to constitutional policing and will remain focused on making our citizens safer and our police force better. The I-Team will check back with Senator Moreno. In Cleveland, Peggy Gellick.
Ed Gallick, Fox 8, I-Team.
The I-Team tag team. They should definitely use that. I gave them permission. So Moreno's asking for answers in 10 days. It's already been a few days since this article came out. So he's looking for answers. And so is the Trump administration. They want to know what, like the clip said, they're spending all this money monitoring the police. What have you come to? It's been a while. Let's come up with a plan. And some cities have taken themselves off or fixed what they had problems apparently, but not Cleveland. So you charged to write a sympathy letter, apparently, allegedly, about a death of an officer to the family. That's pretty scummy, if you ask me. And so Moreno's just really asking for some clarity. What the heck's going on with this? And we'll see if he gets anything. I don't think he will, but I don't know. We'll see. Any thoughts on that one?
No.
Oh. Okay, that'll be see what he comes up with. We could take some of that money and use it elsewhere.
Yeah, it says 3 members of the group have earned more than $500,000.
Mm-hmm.
Is that each member $500,000, or is that total? Not that. I mean, one way is better than the other, I guess.
No, yeah. 3 members of the group have earned more than $500,000. It seems like I would go with the total.
Yeah,
but it is an assumption.
This is we're getting ripped off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Federal tax. I think is that federal tax dollars? I don't even know who's paying for these groups, and regardless, but you could be spending that money on, paying cops more, hiring more cops, cop training for the police officers, so we have better cops. Something just came to me. Weren't they just talking about defunding the police not too long ago, and now we're spending gobs of money to monitor the cops now? It seems like those two are not. They don't go together.
Well,
one of them doesn't.
One's a slush fund.
Yes, one of them doesn't fit. Anyway, that's what's going on with Cleveland police. And if you got anything you want to tell us, maybe we're not covering too much of something, give us some feedback on the show, send us an email, crookedrivercast@gmail.com. When the show posts on Monday, go to the website, crookedrivercast.com. Check out the blog posts. You can follow along with all of our stories. I mean, provided I get them in the right order for our webmaster. Sorry about that. But check us out if you want to dig deeper in and see what we're missing, and maybe you can give us some help. So share the show, send it to your friends, anybody you think would be interested. We really appreciate you listening, especially all the way through this part, halfway through the show. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. This is a doozy, Tom. This one's a doozy. City of Canton has decided to ban public comment at city council meetings.
What?
Yes. Yes. Here's another idea stream, a little background on this city council, Canton City Council.
Some Canton community members are speaking out after City Council banned public comment during meetings. I'm IdeaStream Public Media's Anna Huntsman. Council members voted 8-2 to eliminate the public comment section of council meetings, citing safety concerns, disruptive comments, and threats against council members on social media. Lorinda Johnson regularly attends meetings and says not all speakers are unruly.
It's disappointing that others are, in a way, punished, or like our right to speak is taken away.
Johnson says the ban targets certain community members, like people who are unhoused or elderly who may not have access to phones or email.
There's a feeling of being left behind, feeling that they have something to offer. And if they know that they can go to city council and be able to speak and to directly engage, that's huge.
City council will vote on its rules when the new term starts next year and may revisit public comment procedures. Anna Huntsman, IdeaStream Public Media.
So they can't take the heat. So what'd they do? Just ban public comment at city council meetings.
Yep.
8-2 vote. I guess they don't want to hear. I mean, you can still send an email and call, because that's the same. Not. Here's a.
This is awful.
Yeah, and
Man.
I don't think this is the first city to do it by any stretch of the mean. I think there's other cities that do a lot of this stuff or have at least limited public comment in some way. They are saying, "Hey, you still can email and call." And here's a little. So some speakers come to Canton City Hall very upset over something that Canton City Council is not responsible for. And then the city council members are annoyed and rolling their eyes at the person instead of helping them understand who the right elected official is to help them.
Well, I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But instead of figuring out they're just ban it.
Yep.
And every city council, they can always overturn this, or, they could do this at any point. They just vote for it and overturn it. So they're saying maybe down the line, they're going to look at it, but they're worried about death threats and unruly comments and people getting angry at them at city council meetings.
I think they're worried about not having answers.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, wait, this one. A bunch of wusses. Come on. Can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen.
Yeah, I wonder if they just had one or two disruptive people. But I mean, can't you just have them removed?
Or did they? What's disruptive? You know what I mean? Like, so, So maybe what we could do, though, is you could check out, what is that called? Citizenportal.ai.
Mm-hmm.
And start, I don't know, is there a Canton City Council meeting we should look up and to see how unruly these people are getting?
I will look into that.
You know, there's a good use for that.
It's even there.
Citizenportal.ai is where they have all the streams of city council meetings and that kind of stuff. Check it out. It might, if you can help the show, you can go find one of these unruly people and send us the clip, and maybe we can revisit this story. But I'm questioning what they mean by unruly. Somebody raise their voice a bit could be considered unruly.
Yeah,
you know, since they're crying like little babies all the time. Oh, that's that public comment gone in Canton. Next to be gone is a whole bunch of schools in Cleveland. Oh, that's so cold. But apparently they don't need all these schools. So I started reading this story and I had immediately had questions on the story, which basically says they're closing 29 schools, but only shutting down 18 buildings. I said, how does that make any sense? Well, do I have a clip on this one? I think I do, don't I? Yep, I do. Let's go with the clip on Cleveland schools. And let me get, this is News Channel 5 and kind of what's the plan and what do they got in store for, I mean, what does the city have to say about it?
Nancy Diamore knows how a school can become much more.
It's a family. It's a community.
Her great-granddaughter is a fifth grader at Mary Church Terrell.
There's several of us that walk, and if the school closes, we really don't have a lot of options.
One of 18 buildings the Cleveland School District plans to close next year as part of a broader cost-cutting move announced last week. Cleveland's mayor says a redevelopment strategy is in the works.
In the next couple of weeks, you'll see a plan be announced from my administration in partnership with CMSD, outlining our vision for those old school sites to ensure they're integrated to a broader community development strategy for those respective neighborhoods.
But Nancy's skeptical and sad.
You should be.
I think it's a waste. I mean, what are you going to do with an empty building?
In 2021, the city and the school district put a dozen buildings on the market, including the historic Wilson School here on East 55th Street. Most of those buildings are still sitting empty, some vandalized, fenced off, and covered with graffiti.
Still sitting empty because the mayor's words are empty. We're going to have this broader strategy for, you've tried this already with 12 and they're still empty. There's a couple they've repurposed for like retirement homes and stuff. Because really, these buildings are like serious buildings. Most schools are built very well.
Yeah, from that era for sure.
Yeah, they were usually the tornado. Good place to go if you're. My school had. That's what it was. My school had the. Was it the symbol for radiation for a nuclear strike?
Yeah,
my elementary school had on it. Like that was going to help.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Tuck and cover. But it was a well-built building, and that's kind of the point. And they have wide court. This is some of the other clip that I was watching is from the Maroos brothers developer. He was saying, we've done a couple of these, and they can turn out to be very useful buildings because they got wide corridors and, auditoriums and that kind of stuff. So for certain applications, they can work. But part of the problem is most of these schools are they have not been kept up, and there's not many retirement homes that want to, are you going to take your parents to a retirement home in the worst neighborhood in Cleveland?
Yeah. Well,
I think they just needed to demolish these and start redeveloping. Part of the issue is, part of the issue is, like we talked earlier, is shrinking class sizes. Less kids. People are having less kids. Boomers are old. We built these schools because of the boomer generation. Those are gone. They're not gone. They're still here, but they're not the kids anymore. And now we're on second generation after that, whatever it is, a lot less kids. So that's what I come up with. I'll say they're closing 29 schools, but only 18 buildings. Because I see this little buried down deep in the article says, in some cases, students won't change buildings. Several Cleveland high schools, like John Hay and John Marshall, contain several schools, in quotes, on one campus. Oh, okay. But each with their own administration people. Those will be consolidated. So you consolidated schools. You'd already done one round of school closings. You took 2 or 3 schools, put them into one building, but kept 3 principals and 3 administrative staff for 3 schools. Let that sit in for a second. Let that sit for. Hello, I can't figure out why you guys just hemorrhage money all the time. Can't figure out why. So they're closing a bunch of schools. And mainly because they don't need all these schools.
Right.
Look, they have, what does it say? 88 schools in the district. They're going to, but again, how many buildings is that? How many actual school buildings is 88? Doesn't sound like 88. It sounds like maybe 60. But they are going to go, and we talk about Cleveland for a lot of, it's the major, like we talked last, it's the hub. It's what drives a lot of the Cuyahoga County and northeastern Ohio. But this isn't exclusive to Cleveland. You go to Canton, go to Akron, probably not Columbus, because Columbus is still growing. Cincinnati, all these school districts are shrinking because there's a lack of kids. So, for example, they're going to go from 61 pre-K through 8 schools to 45, and from 27 high schools to 14 by closing 18 schools. Yeah, I think it's needed. I mean, why haven't they done it sooner?
Yeah.
Probably
should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah, and some of the problem is you're now going to have to go farther to get to your school, which in a lot of cases could be very, a hard thing to figure out for families. They have to do more busing, something like that. But if you've got a school for 1,000 kids and you've got 200 in there, like you're paying, and they're old and they're very costly. So.
Yeah.
So it's probably going to be a little pain, but it's necessary. You can't keep going on this. It's not sustainable. Look at your budget. I think they're going to be $150 million in the hole. This will save them $30 million. Oh, here we go. That's what I was looking for. I was rambling to look for this one stat. So he pointed out Bibb pointed out CMSD's enrollment, which has dropped from 70,000 students in 2000 to 34,000 students today. That's half. So yeah, you don't need all those schools if your students are cut in half. Not literally cut in half. The amount of students are cut in half. Shut them down, bulldoze them, and sell it. Because I don't know what else they're going to do with it. Let's see. Anything else on that, Tom?
No. I mean, they got to do what they got to do.
Yeah. Doesn't make any sense. And why did they take us so long to figure this out?
Yeah.
Because it's bureaucracy. Everybody's trying to save their job. All right. Next, we move on to a interesting story. Again, it's about Cleveland, but it's really not exclusive to Cleveland. But it is interesting. So we have the living among the dead. That's how I put it in our show notes, because we have a Scranton Cemetery in Cleveland has got a homeless encampment. And well, what did the city have to do? What does the city want to do about it? What's their solution? Well, right now, let's see. Here's a little rundown of what they want to do, what they've done so far.
City, I'm told, put out this porta potty as well as the trash can. I'm also told by people living here that the city told them to move into that corner of the cemetery away from the headstones.
And I'm 66. You wait till I get 66 to get me in the tent.
Tents scattered among headstones, people looking for answers and living on their last resort.
It sucks, but this is all they have. Where else can they go?
This man, who spoke on the condition of anonymity, estimates at least 25 people live here at Scranton Cemetery. He says many were priced out of housing, and now the government shutdown is costing them food.
I ain't get food stamps this month. What's going on? It's all coming down just like an avalanche.
Ronald Williams is retired and says he lives here because his Social Security wouldn't even cover rent, let alone other bills.
They shouldn't be in a cemetery. People dead should be in there.
Ray lives right around the corner and feels for the people at the cemetery. She tells me she's been homeless before and tries to help, handing out food when she can.
It's hell to be out here wet and cold.
So what's getting done to try and fix this?
What we want folks to do is to know that there are good people working to help.
Okay. Director of Public Health, David Margolius, says from voucher programs to helping get applicants on disability to a seasonal shelter program, they are leaving no stone unturned to find a resolution.
There isn't any good solution without a housing solution, and so that's what we're laser focused on.
While I was at Scranton Cemetery, crews came through for a garbage pickup. The people here are hoping for some help. The city is working to get ahead of worse conditions.
There are folks here who are, veterans. There are folks here who've been discharged from the hospital with nowhere else to go. And so we're doing everything that we can to find a housing solution for folks.
I don't think that is becoming a permanent solution, but it's something that's temporary to pacify.
In Cleveland, Colt Molesky, 19 News.
Every stone unturned, Tom. So, yeah, because this picture here in the article is the dude's literally hanging his laundry from the headstone.
Aren't there shelters?
Yes. From my way I understand it, yes. Now, I know in the wintertime, maybe if they fill up faster, maybe that's possibly a problem, but I don't think there's requirements in a lot of these shelters.
Yeah, you can't do drugs.
Can't be drinking, can't be drunk, can't be high. Not to say that and some people, I would think, barring the weather, obviously the wintertime would suck, but living in a tent in a cemetery would be way better than going to a homeless shelter.
Why?
Because I'm living on my own. I'm not having to worry about some other homeless guy steal from me. And
yeah, but when you're living in a tent, how do you get yourself up and out of there?
Oh, yes. But this guy retired. He's a retiree. Like, how do you retire all you're retiring around is Social Security? Maybe
he never worked.
Maybe you shouldn't have retired or permanent. Maybe you should have or partially retired and still have a part-time job. I mean,
yeah. He was walking fine. The thing is, he's probably stoned out of his mind.
Could be an alcoholic, could have drug. There's all kinds of that stuff. It's not an excuse, but it is part of the problem. A lot of times when people are homeless, but the city is doing. I mean, they're just trying to find another government program to put them on. They're not trying to actually help them. They're trying to enslave them even more. Instead of pulling themselves up by their bootstraps, they're just going to say, no, it's not your fault.
Listen,
here's some more money.
If I help somebody, my job's done. So then I don't have a job.
Mm-hmm. There you go. If you fix the problem, then you're no longer needed. And now you have to go actually get a real job. So you may just hit the nail right on the head, I think.
That's a huge thing happening in like San Francisco. There's a whole economy based on homelessness.
Well, and it began when they got rid of they made it, you're able to camp anywhere on public land.
Yeah.
So you hear stories of people in LA or in California walking out of their multi-million-dollar home to tents on their tree lawn with people shooting up heroin. Like, whoa, yeah, that's what I want to do.
And there's organizations that are supposed to be helping, with the homelessness, but they're breaking in the dough. They're making good money.
Yeah, they're enabling them to continue the scam.
Yeah.
And these poor people are suffering instead of instead of getting better, they're just enslaved, more and more enslaved onto the system. Never to get off unless, I mean, you really got to work hard to get off of it when you're that destitute.
There are homeless people that just want to be homeless, but
yeah.
So I don't know.
There's a lot of mental issues. That's what ends up happening to a lot of people who, we used to have asylums to put these people in, and now we just give them medicine and send them out on the street, and they end up homeless a lot of the times because they're not getting help. They're just getting a Band-Aid.
I don't understand how they can be doing that in a cemetery. Is that a city-owned cemetery?
That's a good question, actually. Is it city-owned?
I don't know about that one. I guess some cemeteries are owned by the city. I assume. I don't know for sure.
That's a good question. I didn't see that anywhere. I read this article. But also, if you're not going to get help from the city, there's not a whole lot the cemetery could do about it if it is privately held. Scranton, it is even. We're not going to waste it. It might be. It doesn't matter if it is or I was going to look it up, but it don't matter. It could be city owned. Sounds like it might be. But regardless, I don't think the turnout or it would be much different if it was privately held.
Right.
Because what are you going to do? Kick out the homeless people, and then you got to call the cops. And if they don't show up, what the heck are you supposed to do? All right. So, I don't know. Feel bad, but man, I really wish we can get them some help. So moving on to the next story, or last one on our normal story list, is one that, I mean, I saw this story and kind of was like, what's this all about? And never heard of this group. If anyone's ever heard of Claw,
you're gay.
Well, maybe, but I mean, maybe, but what
most likely
what some people might be thinking, like, what the Claw is it not? It's not what you're thinking. It's not this.
Who's in charge here?
Claw is our master. Claw chooses who will go and who will stay.
This is ludicrous.
What is that from?
That's from Toy Story.
Oh, I don't remember that.
That's from like Toy Story 2 or 3, where they're in an arcade, and I forget the story, but I think Buzz Lightyear loses his memory that he's a toy. That was the first one. So Buzz is chasing him through an arcade, and he gets into the claw machine, and it's all these alien toys. They're all like, "Oh, the claw tells us when to go. They take us to the promised land," or something like that. Anyway, that's what I thought of when I heard the Claw. But no, it is not a Toy Story.
Well,
I mean, damn. It's a good point. Yes, let me go. Let me go on, because yes, you have a point. Claw is the Cleveland Leather Annual Weekend. What is Claw? Well, yeah. According to one of the members, Jim DeLong, 67, it was just all organic. So Claw was a annual leather event in Cleveland Leather Annual Weekends, where they'd have a weekend of enjoying leather.
It's a leather, and it brought together leather and kink communities. Basically, It's a bunch of fabulas getting together and putting on their chaps.
And the sad story is that it's moving. It's moving.
I thought this was going to be in the good things section.
Good things. Did I say it was going to be in the good? Well, I guess, but I got some other stuff, the good things segment. But this is in the end of the show funny segment is what it's going to be, because it's moving, and it's really nothing to do. I mean, they're really just victims in this, because it's just LGBTQ hate is really what is all boils down, according to them, of course. So what they're saying, that they have to move to Columbus so they can keep the name Claw, because there'll be Columbus Leather Annual Weekend, but they can't do it in Cleveland anymore. And a couple of reasons. So they had there was COVID was a big reason. So kind of a lot of this they started getting some momentum in this meeting or weekend or whatever you want to call it. and then COVID hit. And then
it's been going on since 2001,
yes,
by the way.
So you look at 20 some years. And I'm trying to get this timeline right. So they had a event at a hotel and they lost their deposit because some pipes burst, and the hotel blamed them for the pipes bursting. And you think
why did the pipes burst?
Well, according to the hotel, they claimed that they were not safe for work. Children in the room, you might not want them here. No, we're going to keep it clean, but so the hotel had, I think it was a Renaissance or something. They had claimed that they were flushing sex toys down the toilets.
You could just say adult toys. That would have been
adult
clean.
Toys. You're right. But it's still,
and that's where the Toy Story comes in.
That's right where the Toy Story comes in. And I call BS because have you seen the price of adult toys?
No,
I don't know if anyone's flushing those things down the toilet. But just saying, I haven't lately either. But imagine they're not cheap.
Do we have another story here, Rob?
Do we? What are you talking about?
The price of toys.
Yes, I'm just saying. They're not cheap. I mean, come on. I mean, they cost money. So why are you just going to flush them down the toilet for no reason? No, I don't think so. But I'm obviously tongue in cheek on that. But so
why would Well, I believe the hotel. I think they were flushing things down the toilet.
I do too. I was only making
a
silly joke that why would you flush expensive sex toys down the toilet? But
what happened when they flushed the sex toys down the toilet?
It clogged the pipes, and pipes broke, so they lost their deposit, $56,000.
and a bunch of poop fell on them too.
Does it say that in the story?
I think so.
Oh, well, I mean, does it really make? No, never mind. And so that was one thing. So they lost a $56,000 deposit. Then the next year, they held an event. It looks like in Los Angeles, doesn't it? Yeah. Because of COVID, they're something to do with the hotel and the pandemic. They only had a choice between Thanksgiving or Christmas to hold their 2021 event. So we thought about how hard it would be for people to get to Cleveland during the Thanksgiving weekend. So we started talking and maybe to do it somewhere else. So they decided LA. Well, problem with what happened in LA was a little bit more, a little different than what happened in Cleveland. The pipes didn't burst, but it seems as though, oh wait, no, I'm sorry. They hadn't, this timeline's, there's a lot here in this story. In Scene Magazine, they got long stories. So they did it in LA, but then they come back to the IX Center in Cleveland in 2023. They held the Claw event was held at the Renaissance, now the Hotel Cleveland. And it seems they had some things that may have jeopardized their event. And what they did was they had a Claw leadership hosted a horse market, which is a group event in the ballroom of the Renaissance without informing the hotel staff. And it was a group, it's basically horse market would tell me like you're bidding on people, something to that effect. But it was a group event, if you could follow me, that normally they had this off-site. But members of the hotel staff walked in on some very surprising acts that were happening in the horse market. So it sounds like that sounds like the main reason they can't find a venue in Cleveland. And I can't imagine why, because instead of certain behavior from certain individuals did cause some issues there, but it wasn't everybody. A few bad apples can really spoil everything. Yes, they can.
Yeah.
There's nothing illegal about what we do. Well, here, let's just be fair about this. If this was just a standard heterosexual event of a similar context, and this happened, you should also be kicked out of the hotel. I don't care if it's two guys, a woman and a guy, two women. I could see that. I'm picturing. I've been to a lot of events at hotels, like for business. I can only imagine what the staff was thinking. Like, the insurance conference was crazy about. Look at this one. So they walked in on them doing some pretty nasty stuff, it sounds like, in the ballroom or in one of the meeting rooms of the Renaissance. And Renaissance is a pretty nice hotel downtown. So now they're blaming the Renaissance changing ownership and being anti-LGBTQ plus IA, up, down, left, right.
Yeah. Okay.
But really, this is what happens when you get a bunch of guys in the room together, attracted to other guys, and there's no self-control.
Yeah. I mean,
no self-control. It's the one thing the opposite sex brings to the relationship is decency and self-control.
I guess so.
Sometimes, at least.
But this is like a leather and kink convention. It's like, what do you think's going to happen?
Well, yeah, but they used to plan for that and do it off-site.
Yeah.
So basically, I think it's a group orientation of, yeah, at that. So they're moving to Columbus. And I'm sorry to hear it, but yeah, what are you gonna do? That's what happens when you get out of control. And said, no hotel in Cleveland will help you because you have such a reputation that you are out of control event.
Just a bunch of old gay guys.
Yeah, and that's look at the pictures. A bunch of old gay guys
it's
in leather.
hilarious.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Can't control themselves.
Yes, that's kind of what made. I'm like, no kidding. So imagine a bunch of guys.
I didn't take those pills for nothing.
I ain't buying them pills I ain't wasting those pills. I'm using them today. Just made it more convenient. You have to go off site. So, they're going to go to Columbus. And yeah, I guess it is part of the good thing segment because they don't ever have to worry about being downtown during Claw.
Yeah. This was from the Buckeye Flame. The story. It's from Scene Magazine, but it's by Ken Schneck, the Buckeye Flame. So they must have grabbed it from another publication.
Yeah, it's funny, how I notice a lot of that now. It's a lot of the stories from IdeaStream or whoever they get it from. They buy them from other places. That's the state of our journalism today. Not much of it, actually.
Well, you don't have a journalist anymore.
Yeah.
They're all activists.
Yeah.
We have to navigate through this crap.
Yeah, which is why you were listening to the Crooked Rivercast. And even our beloved Morgan falls for the activism sometimes too. On to the next.
We bring good things to light.
Good things segment. Well, I think it's a good thing. I mean, it is a good thing, but I mean, when you get police, I should have pulled that clip. That would have been pretty good. But when you, here's a story. North Ridgeville police wrangle 4 horses on city streets going down Center Ridge Road in North Olmsted.
How did that happen?
They got out of someplace. Oh yeah, Maddock Road. It was on Center Ridge and Maddock Road. But there's 4 horsemen running down. I thought at least somebody had some apocalypse thing going on, and that was the reports. And they tied together some dash cam footage with the police 911 calls, and they got 4 horses. There's 4 horses running down Center Ridge Road. You know what? In the report and it does not say where they came from. Did I miss that?
Yeah, I'm looking at that now. It doesn't.
I listened to the report. The report was just basically the audio and footage, so it really didn't go over.
It's a crazy Amishman.
So, and the good thing is they got no horses were injured, and there's a lot of people that had stopped and helped the police kind of wrangle the horses up. Sounds like, and got them back to where they belong. Which, yeah, it'd be nice to tell us where they came from.
The state of our reporting.
State of journalism, exactly, to our point. Wow, that was pretty good. All right, and next on the list. So yeah,
did they save him?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
They got them all wrangled up. That was kind of the touching part of the story. Is nobody seemed like there was some help from residents and people driving by. A lot of people calling and giving the police where they are, and following them along so that people pulling off the side of the road. So it looks like from a horse farm. I mean, they got those covers on, a couple of them, and a picture here and so forth.
Yeah.
So it looks like
It's North Ridgeville. There's some I think there's a couple of farms out there. Yeah,
I imagine that's where he came from. Some dopey kid left the gate open, and now he's getting grounded. That's basically what's happening. So never know when the 4 horsemen might come. Maybe it started in North Ridgeville. We'll find out. And finally, we have a good story. Bernie Kosar has had some health issues. He's looking to get a liver transplant. 61 years old, former QB of the Cleveland Browns, beloved QB of the Cleveland Browns.
Boy, does he look different.
Bad. Yeah. Well, his liver's failing. He's had 5 operations to try to get to the point where he can get a transplant. So right now they're not getting him one because he's not in good health. Did
he drink his way through that one?
He may have. He did a lot of drinking for many years after. He suffered from a lot of concussion brain injuries.
I could feel that.
Yeah. Anecdotally, I have some experience in my personal life with some people who know him pretty well, and they had turned him on to he was going out of the country for injections for his concussion, his memory, his brain issues. And you could see a huge difference in the way when you saw him.
Was he doing stem cell?
I think it was.
Yeah,
I think it was something like that. I don't remember. This has been many years. But I always thought. I mean, he may have been drunk, but he did a lot of.
Sounded like it.
Yeah, he did a lot of the preseason stuff when he was coming back in, and I think they were kind of giving him a test. That's usually, I imagine how they do it. Try you out in the preseason ones, and
he was slurring his way around,
slurring his words. So I don't know if it was. But a lot of his normal speak was like that.
Right.
People were saying. And you could hear a difference. I actually met him, I think it was Baker Mayfield's first game he stepped foot on for the Browns, preseason game, I think against the Jets, and I met him at a suite. And he was not slurring a word.
Yeah, that's why I always wondered, because I've heard him speak well, and then those times I heard him slurring, I was like, oh my God, is he drunk? I was thinking the same thing. I didn't know if it was from all the injuries or. But
I think he did get into some trouble with some alcohol, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong. I mean, it might be tied together. I'm sure it's something to do with. And a lot of these guys are so beat up and the pain that they live through. But he's been going through a lot of health concerns, and he's still kind of just waiting, but to see if he can get better so that he can get his liver transplant. And there's a GoFundMe for him if you want to donate to Bernie. And I'm sure he's got plenty of bills right now sitting in the hospital. And he played for the Cleveland Browns, so he didn't make that much money.
And it was a while ago too.
Yeah, and I think he actually went belly up. I think he had some financial issues too. He's one of those guys. I thought he was on one of those documentaries where they follow the sports guys, and then, I mean, smart guys. He was in, I think, hockey. He'd owned some hockey franchises and stuff like that. So maybe that's where he ran into some trouble. But Bernie Kosar, the best story I have of Bernie Kosar, my uncle told me this, that he was scheduled. So they had a preliminary draft, a local draft for the NFL at one point in time, where if you had somebody from your area, the closest team could pick you in a draft before the real draft, something like that. But you had the abilities to pick a local guy over the rest of the teams if they were in your area. He graduated. First of all, he graduated Miami University. So that's one thing. A year early with a business and marketing degree or whatever he has, just so that he can get to be picked by the Browns, because the following year they were getting rid of it. So he actually upped his schedule, was playing football, and got a 4-year degree in 3 years. So not a stupid guy.
Right.
And that's why he was a good quarterback, because he wasn't the most athletic. He had a killer arm, and he could read defenses. He was a genius.
Yeah, he wasn't good at running.
No, definitely not.
I didn't really pay all that much attention, but watching him run was funny.
Yes.
At best.
Yes. And in those late years, he basically had his ankles completely taped.
Yeah. Okay.
He couldn't even bend his ankle because he had all his ankle problems from getting sacked. I'm getting sacked all the time because of crappy offensive lines. But I digress. All right. So go check out the GoFundMe and the articles down there if you're interested. I'm sure Bernie could use the help. And he's starting to recover, and hopefully he can get well and get his liver transplant and get on the mend. That's about Bernie Kosar. And on that note, that wraps up show 35. Thank you for listening. Really do appreciate it. Check us out, crookedrivercast.com. Send us an email. Check out the blog. Go through the stories as we go through them, and then maybe you can find out where we've gone wrong or what we missed. Shoot us an email. Tell us how we're doing. Really appreciate listening. Thank you for your time. And that is show 35. We'll talk to you next week.
Peace.